So now today we will go ahead and create a business layer. This is the last, sorry, this is the last step in the creation of universe. So first we'll see like what is business layer and all. Business layer is like a collection of metadata objects that map to SQL or MDX definitions in a database. So it's like we will create objects here so that it will map to SQL of a database. So from database tables, what are all the columns that we require? We will give them a proper name and create objects so that end user will understand. Principal role of business layer is to define and organize metadata before it is published as a universe. So when before publishing universe, we will define and organize it in a folder structure in a neat manner so that it is very understandable for the users. Even business users can create ad hoc reports on their own with limited training. If our business layer is clear, they themselves create some few of the reports for their analysis purpose as well. So these are the components of business layer. Business layer, queries, parameters, list of values, navigation path. Navigation path is like a hierarchy. If we have any object like a region object, country, state, city itself is a hierarchy. So that is the creation of those kind of hierarchies. And in the year also, under year we should have a quarter, under quarter month, under month date respectively. So that is one hierarchy. So those hierarchies we will create in the navigation path. List of values as we already discussed, parameters already discussed. So these are the business layer properties and descriptions, like how we can limit the execution time, what is the result set size. These things we can set here in the properties level. These are the types of objects that we create in the business layer. First, we can create a folder. Folder, that it is like a group of related objects. So if we create a folder of time period, so time related objects we will be creating time related objects under that folder, like year, quarter, month, date, calendar day, something like that. All the time related objects will be created under the folder of time period. So this is like a grouping of related objects. Similarly, we have other folders like a product or under the product, we have all the related time objects related to product, like product ID, product code, product description. So in similar way, we will create like that. So folder is that one. And as I already told, the objects are of three types: dimension, attribute, measure. Dimension is like a text data, like month or product name or product ID, anything related to which classifies the information which we use to if you see here, our object represents the axis of analysis in a query. So if we are analyzing something, if you are analyzing sales revenue, we need to have some perspective, like in which perspective we are analyzing. Are we going like a region-wise sales analysis or product-wise sales analysis? So here region and product comes under dimensions, and sales is a measure. So the number objects that contains calculation and aggregate functions that map to statistic and analytic data in the database is a measure. Attribute is like it will give the descriptive information about some dimension. So detailed information about dimensions we will have using attributes. This is equivalent to a detail in Universe Designer. In Web Intelligence, we have a object type has a detail. So it is like a data about the dimensions. If first name, last name, if we have a name, and if it is split under the first name and last name, then we can create a detail or attribute, and we can create like that. So filter is like to object that contains a predefined condition that can be used to restrict data in a query. So filters we create to restrict the data in a query. So every time we don't need all of the data for our analysis purpose. So if we have a sales report, and maybe sales will be per region wise, the sales supervisors, they will handle region wise. They are not interested for entire geography. So in those scenarios, if you are creating reports for them, they can have that, they should have that flexibility to select their region data, so that the data will be limited, it will be restricted, and the performance will be better. So that is possible using filter. It is a pictorial representation of a business layer. You can consider these circles as what we say, these as a dimensions, like customer dimension, region dimension, salesperson. These are the folders. Under the customer folder, we have customer address, phone number, area. These are the dimensions. Under region folder, we have region code, region detail. We have to create in this manner so that the end user will understand the report better for their analysis purpose. Department is one class. Under that, we have these objects created. Plant is one class. Under that, plant code, plant size, total employee. So in this manner, we can create folders inside that objects with some formulas, so that we can use them for our analysis purpose. The types of objects are dimension, measure, attribute. These are the properties of the dimensions and measure. The data type, as you might be already knowing, we have some data types like character or number. If it is a string, we will give the data type as character. If it is a numerical value, we will give the data type as number. So these are the examples. For data type, it can be numeric. String is like a collection of characters. Date, if it is if the object is like defining the date object, like start date, end date, then the object data type should be date. Date time, if it is having the timestamp also, the type is date type. Blob, unknown, percentage, or member. So these are the types of data types. View script, we have the option to preview the SQL or MDX script. View data, we can view the data that is there from the database. Aggregation function, we can aggregate the some measures to sum or count or average quantity. It will give the average quantity of particular region. Sum of the quantity, count of, minimum, maximum, first, last. These all come under as aggregation functions. SQL definitions, we can use the select and where statements, and we can use some formulas to create the objects if required. If it is not direct, we can put the keys if it is a primary key, so that it will improve the query performance. If there are any primary keys and we are creating objects for that, we can set that in as a key, so that it will be useful for indexing, and it is used for our report, what we say, fetching purpose. It is useful, so that it will improve the performance of the report. So as you already mentioned, like performance tuning, one of the ways is to create mention if it is a key, primary key or foreign key. If we mention that, if we check that object as a key, then if we are using that in a filtering purpose or indexing purpose in our Webby report, it will improve the performance. Attribute, as we already told, it is a detail about the dimensions. Predefined filters, there are some already predefined filters available in our universe design. We can put, based on the business requirement, we can already create a predefined filters. This is a view in the tool, like how we create a dimension. If you see, if we select, right click and create new dimension, it will, this window will come up. So here we will give the dimension name, what we want to put. If it is a product name, product description, or a state, so we will put the name of the dimension, which will be understandable by the business user. We will put the select here, we will write the formula, like from which table it is coming and what object we should map here. We will give here. Here keys tab is there, right? If you go to keys tab, and if you check that if we are creating employee ID object, Then employee ID is a primary key. So in those scenarios, we can go to the keys tab and we can check that, so that we are mentioning that this object is a primary key, so that it will improve the performance. So this is about a dimension. If you are creating a measure like a quantity or revenue or profit, then if you see here, dimension is represented with this blue symbol, whereas a measure is represented with this orange rectangle. So we can create here a new, give name as a sales revenue or quantity something. We will give the SQL definition, and we can also associate with the list of values. If there are already list of values, if you are creating year as a dimension here, if you put year, when we can associate around 30 years in a Excel, 30 years in a notepad, and we can associate that list of values with this. So whenever user refreshes the report, and if he want to select something for that year, he'll get those list of values to select. Instead of manually entering the number, he can select from the given list of values. It is about proper attribute or detail. So we are giving more details about that fiscal period. So queries is like we can create some few small queries, and we can see how we are getting data in the universe level itself. We can check how we are getting. These are additional properties available for the parameters, like prompt to user. If we check this option, it will prompt the user when he's refreshing the report. Prompt text, which text we want to put, like it will ask, we will mention the text like select year to refresh the report from the given list of values. We can mention that, so that whenever user refreshes the report, the same text will appear. So after seeing that text, user will select from the given list of values. So these are some of the properties available. It is also about the list of values. List of values is a list that contains the data values associated with an object. A list of values allows a user to choose values as a response to a prompt when an associated object is included in a query. As we mentioned already, if year is associated with some list of values, and if we are using that year in the prompt filters, whenever user refresh the report, it will ask for which year you want to see the value report. So he can give around 2 to 3 years. Then he will get the data for those 2 to 3 years only, which will be very much useful for report performance point of view. Because if he don't give the prompt, but he's interested only around 2 years data, but in the database level we have around 10 years data. If you don't put this and if have this prompt, then the report will take more time to load, and he'll get 10 years of data in the report, which he's not interested to see for his analysis. So in that scenarios, we will use the prompt and list of values. The types of list of values are like based on business layer objects. Static list of values is like we will attach some notepad or some file with a static list of values. So whenever user refresh the report, only those list of values will be coming. A list of values based on SQL also we can give it, so that it will be dynamic. So whenever if you write some formula using current year minus 10 kind of thing, so whenever the year keeps changing, and the list of values will keep changing until 10 years to current year. So that kind of possibility is there. Navigation path is like object that defines the drill path. As we already discussed, there is a drill down and drill up feature available in Web Intelligence. That is possible if we create navigation path and if we set up hierarchy in the universe layer. Aggregate awareness. Aggregate awareness is a term that describes the ability of a universe to make use of aggregate tables in a database. So there are aggregate tables. So which the tables are what we say aggregate table means they will be aggregated to year, quarter, month. Already the formulas and the sum will be done at the database level. So if we are using aggregated measures in our report. So the sum will directly come from the database instead of it getting calculated in the report layer, which will improve the query performance. So it is one of the performance tuning method we can use, aggregate awareness. Universe security, as we already discussed that even security administrators are also use universe design tool, information design tool to create security profile. So a security profile is a group of security settings that apply to a universe published in the repository. So some critical universes will be there which deal with finance data and all. So for those universes, if everyone has the access to create reports on top of that universe, then maybe everyone will be able to see the finance related data, which is not recommended. So for those critical universes, they'll create some user profiles and assign the security so that only the users who need to have the access, they will only get the access to those universes. They can only create the reports and see the data. For all other users, the universe cannot be viewed or retrieved for their reporting purpose. So that setting can be achieved by using data security profile or business security profile. We have two security profiles in the universe, that is a data security profile and business security profile. Business security profile is defined on the universe views and business layer, whereas the data security profile is defined at a connection level itself. These are some options available in the data security profile. The restriction level, it should be very restrictive or is moderately restrictive, less restrictive or priority. So based on the sensitivity of data, we will put the restriction level. So now we will try to create a business layer. I'll show there is already created a business layer. So from there also we can see. Can you see the IDT tool now?
Yes, we can see it.
Demo.dfx is the layer that we have created yesterday. So if you click on this, sorry.
Hi, Renuka.
Yeah.
So the IDT, we get it from the BO suite, right?
Yes, it is part of BO suite.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, when we install that business intelligence 4 point, I'll show you. It will there we will check what are all we need. Actually, in our projects, we will be getting this file, SAP Business Objects BI platform for client tools. These are this. We will there will be a zipped version of file. So when we are installing, we will need to check the options like which tools we want to get installed. So there we have the option to check information design tool, universe design tool, which is the older version, and web intelligence. We can check mark and we will install, download and install. Then we will get it in our suite. So it is a part of BO client tools.
Thank you.
Okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yesterday we have created this data foundation layer. After we can directly create a business layer by clicking on this new business layer. If you click on this, it will ask for the name, and I got this business layer. So tool automatically showing up some folders, some classes and objects. So these are the folders, and under that there are dimensions set up. If you see, these are already created by the tool automatically once we create business layer. Based on our project requirement and given formulas, we can create our own variables and all. I'll just show you by one thing. I mean, it will be, if we create everything, it will take actually universe creation is a big thing. Like if we create everything, it will take around 1 week data, 1 week, 1 week time to create the reports. Objects itself. So, but I'll just show you how we create. Under going to business layer, we will say new folder. If you want to create a new folder, you can create new folder. There actually architects will mention what are all the objects and formulas for us so that we can put. I gave the name as a time period. So the name got changed. Under this folder, we can create a new dimension or new measure or new filter, anything. So let me show you by creating a simple dimension. If I want to create a dimension for year, the data type will be string only because that is just a number. So if you want, so we just gave the name, but we need to tell that from which table, which object or which formula we need to use. So that for that we can directly write here or under the select statement, or you can use this SQL assistant. Click on this. It will appear like it will show what are all the tables that we have in our data foundation. So as I am trying to create year, it should be there in the calendar year lookup table. This year, if I YR is nothing but year. So if I just double click on this, calendar year lookup dot year means from the calendar year lookup, dot means table name dot object name. So table name is calendar year lookup dot YR. It is a year. I'll validate whether it is correct or not. Expression is valid. Okay. So the object is created. Okay. This is like one object is created. In the similar way, we will create all the folders and all the required objects which we use for our reporting purpose. Here type, if we want to create any measure, our attribute is like a detail about dimension. Measure, if we are creating sales revenue, quantity, something, we can put that as a measure. Dimension is, as I told you, on which perspective we are seeing. So here yearly sales, something like that. Mostly text data is a dimension. So here year is a dimension. So we can put like that. There, yeah, here you can see one option. These are all the options that we have seen from the PPT. Show values. If you want to see what are all the years that are getting loaded from the database, if you want to show values, it will open a new window. These are the values that is there from the database. 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. These are the values that we have. Distinct values are also same analysis. So it is like a raw data. So just to see like what data is there in the report layer, database side, we can see this. Here we can also add filter on the year. If you want to give only 2019 data from this universe, we can put that filter and give, but here it is not required. But if there is a requirement, we have that option. This is the keys tab. Add key, if you want to add key as a primary key, if you want to set up, which will improve the performance, we can put add key or detect key and all. Source information, custom properties, we can add some properties here. So this is the window for the creation of dimensions in the business layer. Similar way, we can create other objects. Let me show you the objects which are already created with some formulas and all. So if you see here, eFashion database is the most widely used. eFashion universe is the most widely used universe for the training purpose. So under this eFashion, we have these folders: time period, store, product, promotions, measures. Measures is like we can put all the number values, number objects under this measures folder, and we can create sales revenue. This is the formula, like aggregate awareness. They are using it. Shop facts, amount sold. Or if you want a quantity sold, this is the formula. Margin. See, it is changing like shop facts, margin, discount. So these are the measures that are created. Promotion. There is a promotion flag, whether it is yes or no. Kind of store, product, SKU number. So these are several kind of objects, whether it is, if it is a measure, if you see here, the type is set as measure. The extended price is a measure. You can see it is represented in the orange color. The same kind of representation will be there in the web intelligence report also. So it is represented in orange color. The type is here measure. If it is a dimension, it will be blue color. As it is a extended price is a some number KPI. So we will put that as a measure. So under product table, this many objects are there. Under time period, year, quarter, month, week, whether it is a holiday, yes or no, there will be flags. Yes or no flags will be there. So in this way, we will create a business layer and we will consume them in our universe. So once we create a business layer, we will check the integrity and we will export that to a repository so that we can consume the same e-fashion universe for our reporting purpose. So today we have covered how we will create a business layer. This is a security editor. Yeah, I told you, right? Even a security administrator can use this universe to create some rules. These are the user groups that they have created. These are the types of groups. So they will create the groups and they will map the access to these groups. And whenever a new joiner comes in the project, based on his job and role, so they will assign these groups for them. If he just needs some sales related data only, so that kind of a group will be created here and he'll be giving access to that. Dev GR, dev users. We have a 3 kind of systems in our it is not just business objects. In any technology, in any project, we have 3 kinds of environments. This is for, actually I'm telling for your project perspective, to have a real-time experience. It is not restricted to tool. We have 3 environments: development, quality, and production. So development is like whatever we are doing as part of our development work. If they are wanted to create universe, or if they wanted to create, if business is asking us to create reports, anything from the scratch we do in development environment. So there will be 3 systems for us, and with some other extension names. There will be 3 servers responsible for one responsible for development, one responsible for quality, one responsible for production. Development is for our designers, our IT engineers, or report developers. They will develop the code in development environment. And once everything is developed, we will migrate that all the code or reports or universe, that stuff, technical stuff, to QA, that is quality environment. There, as we are developers, along with the developers in any project, there will be testers also. Those are responsible for testing our code. They will have some test scripts. So based on the test scripts, they will follow all the scripts and they'll check everything. Like, so before it goes to production, they'll check everything, and if everything is okay, or if there is something error, they will raise a ticket or bug, and our developer team needs to fix that issue. And again, they will check, and everything is okay as per their test scripts. If everything is getting passed, then they will give the sign off to move the code from development to production. It is like a project life cycle. It goes like this. So as you are new to IT field, I'm telling all this. So it is like a life cycle of any software project. So QA people will give the sign off, and we will migrate all the content from development to production. So production is the environment where our business or end users will access the reports from. So in the production environment only, the daily data loads will be happened. So for our reports getting generated in development, but the data will not be accurate in the development environment, but in our production environment, every day, hourly or daily, the data loads gets happen and the reports will be always up to date, so that every day the users or clients, stakeholders, they see the reports and they'll get whatever information they want from those reports. So this from development to quality and quality to production is called as a deployment or a migration. It is mostly deployment, we say in technical term, that is a deployment. So here why I am telling is, here if you see dev gr dev users means this is the groups related to development users. Dev users means development users. Similar way, we will be having some QA users and production users. That kind of thing will also be there. Test, if you see here, jet test groups, this will be assigned to testers, testing resources and all. So as I'm seeing this term, I wanted to explain how there are three kinds of environments in our IT field, because we take some months or weeks time to create reports, and we do it from scratch. There will be some issues. So once everything gets finalized, they are not directly accessing it from the development. They will be accessing it from the most stable version of the production. So whenever we do any changes, if there are any enhancements for the existing reports also, we will do in development first, and we will test it in QA, and then only we will migrate that enhancements from development to production, so that the productions will be up to date with the required changes. So this is the security editor. Here, if you see show users, these are the usernames. If you see Deepthi, eTech, these are the usernames that administrator will create. These are the user groups, administrator. This is a group. This is a user. This is also some kind of shared groups, I guess. Hierarchies. These are the group hierarchies. These are the groups and these are the users. So we will first create users. You guys are also wanted to know some admin stuff, right? So in the BO admin stuff, we will create users and we will map the users to the required groups based on their job profile, so that they will have the access which is mapped to those user groups. Then they will be able to work as per their job. But it is always like minimum access. It is not like we will not give administrator access for everyone. It is like minimal access. What is required for their role, that is only will be given, not higher than that. That is possible using the security editors by creating groups, users, hierarchies, and mapping the users to the required groups. That is possible using this security editor. From the universal level we can do. Also we can do from the business objects CMC. It is nothing but a central management console. So there we also have the option to create user groups and users and give the access. We also have some other options like promotion management, as I told you already, to move the code or content from development to quality to production. We use promotion management tool in CMC. Yeah, once we create that business layer, we will check the integrity. As yesterday we have checked for loops and all, right? So the same thing, we can check integrity and we can see if there are any issues in the data foundation or business layer. If you see, use the check integrity function to verify aspects of the design of your universe, data foundation, business layer, verify if the SQL is well formed, verify if specific restrictions or rules are respected, and so on. It is like checking our code if it is everything is correct or not. So if there are any loops or if there are any formula errors, it will show up and we can fix that after seeing that window. Once we check the integrity, we will publish that universes to the repository. Publishing is like a direct step. We can right click on and we can publish. I'll show you that option also. So once we publish, we can convert the .unv to .unx, which we already discussed. If there is any universe created with the older version of the universe design tool, that will be saved as a .unv file. But if we want to make enhancement in the information design tool, it will not support. So for that, first we need to convert .unv to .unx. There will be a wizard. It will ask us, it will be a step-by-step process. It will only ask, give the steps. So we can just follow that wizard and convert the .unv to .unx. Here, there is a BLX layer. So we can click on this BLX, right click on this layer, check integrity, and if everything is okay, we can publish, click on publish to a repository or publish to a local folder. Local folder means it will be saved in local folder. It will not be accessible by everyone in the business. But if we publish it to repository, it is accessible by everyone who are using this system. So they can use that universe for their reporting purpose. Even though you have created it, if you publish it to a repository, it is accessible by everyone who has the right level of access. So they can go ahead and create the reports on top of that. So that is about publishing. I think we have covered every option in the information design tool. Publishing resource, it is the last step in the universe creation process. Using the publish universe wizard, we publish a business layer to either our local file system or to a repository. As you have seen, if you right click on the BLX layer, it will ask for publish to a repository or local file system. That option is there. When you publish a business layer, the wizard exports the business layer and the resources, its references. So we are publishing only business layer, but it will export all its dependencies like local connection shortcuts, and data foundation. Everything will be exported. Then only we will be able to access that in our reporting layer. And it will, when we publish that business layer, then it creates a universe which is then available to users of query, reporting, and analysis tools. Then the universe will be available for reporting, means web intelligence report developer, or for analysis tools, or for dashboards. So for everyone who can access the universe as a data source, it will be accessible for them. Managing repository resources. Repository resources are the universes or connections that have been secured in a repository on a central management system. So whatever we are creating and we are publishing to a repository, these are being managed by a central management system, CMS. It is like a server. Mostly admin people will be handling those central management systems. So everything is which we are keeping in the repository level is being managed by them. So if the server is down, we will not be able to access the universe or report. So there will be admin people who keeps that server up and running always. If there are any issues with the server, with any network issues and all, they will restart the server sometimes, or they will restart the Tomcat, which is back end of the server, so that the server will be up and running. If the server, that CMS server is, if the server is up and running only, then we can access our BO resources as from our development side. So for this also we have three servers for three different systems, like development, quality, and production. This repository resources views lets you navigate and interact with folders and resources in repositories, which is there in our repository resources. Means I'll show you. This is the thing that we are creating, the connection layer, data foundation, business layer, that is there in this window, local projects window. But whenever we publish that to a repository resources icon is there here, right? So everything which got published to repository is publishing into this server, access client 46400. This is the server name. So this is getting, if we publish to repository, it will be there in this server. So you can see what are all the connections which are there in the repository level. These are the connections. These are the universes which are there in the repository, which got published to the repository. So this is the view of repository resources. Here only we will establish a session. We will create a session and all, insert session. So once we are connecting to IDT, it will ask for username and password, and it will establish this session. There we can see what are all there in that particular server, what are all there published to the repository. So it is about the repository resources window. This is about our local projects. If we uncheck this, these are the different business layer is for objects and all. Data queries, we are now there in the business layer, BLX. That is why it is getting showed up here. If we are, if we click on the data foundation layer, here it will be showing like connection, data foundation. The options related to data foundation are appeared here, like connection. In the data foundation, what we can do is we can change the connection, or we can insert some tables in the data foundation. We can create alias and context. We can create parameters and list of values. So this is also important in terms of interview. What are all the options available in the data foundation layer? These are the options available. If you click on, if you switch to business layer again, these options got changed because these are the options which are related to the business layer. We can create queries on top of business layer. We can create some parameters and list of values. We can create navigation paths. See, if I click on navigation paths, these are the already set up navigation paths we have. So these are the responsible options for the business layer. That is why these options being displayed here. So it is about an information design tool. So today we have completed our session on IDT.